Remember, lowly heroes, to be wary of approaching figures in the dark. It may not be whom you think. This is a channel invasion. Boop, 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 boop.
Hello and welcome to Performance Check. I am your host, TheWriter, and this is a channel invasion. Yes, I have inserted myself into Rob's YouTube channel and I am performing for you today instead of him. And in exchange, he will be doing a video over on my channel. Now, gosh, the first couple of times that I saw Rob on YouTube, I couldn't believe how wonderful he was. His raw enthusiasm, just the way he looks into the camera like he's looking right at you, the voices he can do, the raw enthusiasm that he always gets across doing lore drop, doing interviews. He's always so firm and energetic and like he's happy to see you even if he can't see you. He's so charismatic, and of course, he's the best thespian this side of the YouTubes. But we decided to do channel invasion, so here I am. And today's topic is going to be, how sneaky are you really? Now, everybody who's anybody that knows D&D or Pathfinder or what have you has had a rogue or has played as a rogue. And of course, your top ability is move silently or stealth or sneak or whatever you want to call it. But how do you actually rate yourself, like in character, in story? Now, there are two steps to do this. Number one is the baseline of 10. 10 is completely average, a peasant or a farmer or somebody who wishes not to be heard gets an average of 10 on their sneak. That's, the mathematical average of throwing the d20 is getting 10. Now, how can you improve upon this? The second thing is what I call the 5-year-old girl method. Now, imagine, if you will, dear listener, that you were a 5-year-old peasant girl and you were trying to get away, trying to sneak away from something, whether it be a large, mean dog or an abusive father or whatever it happens to be. Some nasty thing happened next door and you were just trying to sneak away into the wood until things blew over from that goblin raid or that bar fight downstairs or whatever it happened to be. You're 5 years old. Now, how do you sneak away effectively? So, the first thing you should do in character, take your shoes off. Absolutely. When you have no shoes on your character, or in real life, you're basically a tenderfoot, right? You don't want to touch cold water, such as babbling brooks, streams, puddles, places where you would leave footprints. You wouldn't want to stomp your way through sticks and leaves and sharp underbrush, so you would be up on logs or staying on stone paths. Places where you would leave very little trace, and since it's just the pads of your feet, you're not wearing high heels or stomping boots or even shoes to make a whole lot of noise, you can ask your DM and find out, if I take my shoes off or if I leave X, Y, and Z behind, can I get a slight bonus for that? And sometimes they'll say yes. I mean, yes, you can buy, boots of sneaking or a tunic that's black oiled that keeps you concealed in the dark and gives you +2 to sneak whenever you want. But if you're a fighter or a paladin, and it's absolutely imperative that you get by unnoticed, take your shoes off. It makes it so much easier to act it out in character, like, oh, I walk up on that log so I don't walk on those dry leaves, and I stay away from the foliage so it won't rip and tear at my skin, and I'm not clomping along in my metal greaves. Surely I make less noise barefoot. So that's one great way of increasing your sneak without actually buying anything or doing anything mechanically is just take your shoes off. Pretend you're a child who doesn't want to be hurt, who doesn't want to be cold, who doesn't want to be found. That's an interesting way to increase your sneak, if you will. Also, the better things to do is to remember your light sources. So, shadows are cast in certain ways from a campfire. Shadows are cast a certain way from light peeking in from a door into a dungeon. Sometimes it's best to wait until nightfall. That'll give you, if they can't see you in the darkness, then all the better. And yes, there are creatures and men who have low light vision or even dark vision, but it can't hurt. It can't hurt. You can entreat your DM for tiny, tiny bonuses to make the difference between being detected and getting caught. So, darkness, walking on a path instead of through leaves, going barefoot, leaving anything behind that like jingles. Like if you take off your chainmail or anything like that. I mean, don't go naked. That would be kind of silly, though it might be effective. But leave anything that's glass behind, any hair ornaments that might jingle or jangle, anything on your money bag, you could leave that behind because the coins jingle. Anything on you that makes noise or keeps you from being concealed, like shining armor, even the slightest light source would really give you away in terms of people. If they were looking for you with torches, they raise the torch high and they immediately see the helm of disintegration that you're wearing because it's covered with glowing ruby gemstones that shine even in the slightest bit of light. So, take the helmet off, put it away, and you're that much harder to find because there's less on you that is reflective. So keep these things in mind, dear adventurer, if you're going to be sneaking around, if you're a rogue or if you're not a rogue. But if you don't want to be detected, especially if you run into those one-hit kill things like dragons or chaos beasts or anything that if it catches you, it's pretty much game over. Don't be afraid to leave things behind, to stuff things in your bag, to take your shoes off. Talk to your DM. See if there's a bunch of little things you can do. So even if you don't have any points in stealth or sneak or move silently, you can always make your conditions a little bit better. And that +1, that +2 might be all you need to get away safely or to sneak up behind your enemy and do what needs to be done. So, that is all I have to say about how sneaky are you today on Performance Check. So, if you liked this video, be sure and leave a like or even subscribe to the channel, or not. We're all friends here, or are we? And you guys can tune into this channel for even more great D&D advice and lore drop stories, etc., etc. And we'll see you guys next time.